so we can have this time. And as I mentioned, in my preparation for this webinar, for this live Q&A, I asked myself a question: how do I want to begin, and what space do I want to create for all of us to be here? And I want to share with you one thing that I am learning from these conversations as much as you are, because just like in this beautiful quote by Tao Chi, knowing is an enemy of learning. I will never show up to a space saying that I have learned something and I'm superior, or I know more, or I know better. I have an opportunity to be, and I'm so glad that I can share this space with you. And if I can assist in creating clarity, I'd love that opportunity. Um, and let's roll. In regards to questions, this is a place where, hi Scott, this is a place where all of us can learn something that hasn't been working, something that we can grow together with, because coaching can be a lonely place, especially when there's so much to compare yourselves with. So let me just stop talking at this point and see if you guys have any questions in regards to what have you been creating, what still isn't working. Maybe you're having conversations that don't lead to clients. Maybe you're seeing that something isn't happening in regards to your invitations, or enrollment. Anything that you are currently being aware of, bring it all in, and let's create an opportunity for you to move forward, in creating and continuing to create this prosperous coaching business for yourself. The journey that every one of us is learning as we go. So guys, feel free to raise your virtual hand or type a message or a question in the comments, and let's begin. Who would like to go first? Yes, Linda.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for doing this, Irina. So over the last year or more, I've been throwing out what I call seeds. And fortunately, lately, it seems like a lot of them are starting to sprout. One in particular that I'll get to my question. I met a gentleman on June 21st, had a powerful conversation. I met him in a social situation, a neighborhood social gathering, and was really struck by the powerful conversations that we had. It was such a joy and so refreshing to have a real conversation with give and take about various subjects. It was wonderful. And I just felt like I want to nurture this relationship. And long story short, I did. And in October, through texting, I found out he wasn't feeling very well because he had a couple of devastating losses in his life. And with a pure heart and intention, I just said, if you'd like to have a conversation, I'm happy to put an hour on my calendar. Didn't mention anything about coaching, although when we first met back in June, I did tell him that I was a coach. He thanked me and he said, I may like to talk to you at some time, but right now I just need my solitude. Fine. A month or so goes by and I've just reached out saying, how are you doing? And he said, I would like to talk with you. Can you let me know what's good for you? Fantastic. We have since had 4 Zoom conversations. After the first 2, I said to myself, you know what? I need to take leadership here and I need to make a proposal. I am my business and I can't keep giving my business away. So let me just ask the question. And I got some coaching on it and I found I was thinking about it too much. And when someone said to me, I don't like to think too much when I go into a conversation. I like to be in the magic of the moment. And I just love that phrase, be in the magic of the moment. So I did. I let all my thinking, planning, note taking go away. And I found at some point, after the conversation, I made the question and I asked him, what do you think about working together? And he said that he would love to work with me. Wow, that's what we all wait to hear, right? Okay. So I said, that's fantastic. So let's put another day on the calendar to talk just about what that would look like. And let's finish our conversation. That was great. We had that a couple of days ago on Wednesday. And he said that he would be interested. And I told him about the agreement and I tweaked my agreement, and I realized one of the things that we didn't talk about was when he would like to actually commence. I did talk about what it would look like, how long it would be. He wanted to know how much it would, all those logistics. Everything was fine. But I didn't ask him when he would like to start. So I texted him, and I am getting to the question. I texted him and I said, geez, his name is Cedric. We didn't discuss when you would like to commence. I said, I have an agreement ready to send to you, but I'd like to have a date that you would like to get together and start our partnership. And I'd like to put that in the agreement. Please let me know. I heard back from him. He's very coachable and he answers questions and he gives me notice if he has to reschedule. So he said, how about after the holiday? So I celebrate Hanukkah and we just started Hanukkah last night. So I rather cheekily said, well, yours or mine. I'm starting mine now and it runs for 8 days. When would be good for you? So my question is, I haven't heard back from him yet. I anticipate hearing from him, I hope. So my thinking in my head, I'm coming up with 2 different scenarios, maybe 3. If I don't hear from him, how do I don't want to be pushy, but I just don't want to let it go. Or he gives me a date and I send him the agreement. And if his idea is not to start until after the holiday, he understands that we're not going to start until I have the first month's fee in my PayPal account, and that's no problem. So I guess I'm wondering, do I just let it lay until I hear back from him with a date? Do I follow up with him and say, I'd really like to get this out? I don't feel comfortable sending an agreement that doesn't have this important information in it, because it could just sit on his desk until after whichever holiday. I don't know if it's after mine, the new year, whatever. So it seems like it was a long time in coming. I hear the words that I wanted to hear. We're excited to work with each other. And boom, because I dropped the ball without asking for a specific day to start, I've now created a little stopgap. So thank you for listening. Love to hear what you have to say.
Linda, first of all, what a great awareness. Yes, you got it. This question could have been asked right there and then. You're absolutely right. And it is always with us slowing down, because yeah, when we hear that magic word of I want to work with you, we get ecstatic. I've been there. I know exactly what it is. And
he said something that was even better than that. He said, I trust you. Wow.
Yeah. And that,
so,
that overwhelmed
I think
me.
I have my answer.
Yeah. I got my
Sorry.
answer and I could just skate over the rest, and we could, put this kind of intricate questions or disagreement aside, and we could just move into the part where we coach, I get paid, and everything works well. And yet, only when we recognize that it is the leadership that people come forward to us in regards to coaching, we are able to provide the leadership where there's No back and forth, no, okay, whose holiday is this, or yours or mine? And Linda, I'm inviting you to slow down and really get clear on, when do I, Linda, having had these amazing 4 conversations with this fellow, think that it would be a great time for us to start. And from that place, because at this point, what I'm inviting you to do is also to look at your schedule.
Mhm.
Yes, your holiday just begun.
Yeah, you're right.
What are you getting at?
You know, I did look at my calendar before when I realized, oh geez, making up the agreement, I didn't ask. I take responsibility for that. I looked at my calendar and I said, okay, we're coming up to Christmas. It really seems like business-wise, you only have 2 weeks in December to get things done business-wise. And you know what? I guess I gave away my leadership. I gave away my leadership in the text when I followed up with him to say, I neglected to ask, or we didn't discuss, whatever my words were, a date to commence.
And
And
there's
then I
no
should
shame.
have said, no,
Linda,
no, no,
beautiful.
it's all
There's no
learning.
shaming
Yeah,
around that, right? There's
yeah,
just our awareness of, there's a great lesson for
yeah.
me.
Oh,
Next time I'm
absolutely.
going to propose, I'm actually
Oh,
going to
yeah,
have the dates set up before I enter
yeah.
this enrollment conversation. Beautiful.
It's, we built the trust, the rapport, the trust, the safety, and all of that kind of beforehand. So I don't, I'm trying not to beat myself up too much about this. So I dropped the leadership ball. Even when I texted him back, I shouldn't have said, when would you like to commence? I should have said, we neglected to discuss, how does this or this date work when I looked at my calendar? That's what I should have done. Then it would have been more definitive. And then he could have said whatever he wanted to say. He could have said, how about after the holidays? And if he said that, I would say, okay, how about January 2nd or whatever?
Or
Yeah. Okay.
absolutely. Yeah.
So what I would love to know now
Hold on,
is,
hold on, Linda.
oh, okay, slow
Even
down.
better, yeah, slow down. And that's
Mhm,
what I'm going to ask you to guys to do from
mhm,
now, every now and then, because only
mhm,
when we are slowed down and our thinking
mhm.
isn't, fast or reactive, we are
Yeah.
able to be present with our client in order to hear,
Mhm,
what will they propose? Because in the enrollment
mhm,
conversations, and that's the lesson that I had to learn very quick, I cannot skate over the details. And
mhm,
absolutely, the role of leader for now, me being the change, so
mhm,
my client can also see the change, is that I can very well say, okay, what works for you or what doesn't, or even better if I already have the dates prepared, because I have had
mhm,
a conversation with this person and I have taken a look at my schedule and I have noticed and really set with this idea of, how can this client be best served? Does it work for him or her to meet with me every week, or maybe he or she is busy and they can only meet with me twice a month? What would work for this individual? And with that thought, sit down and look at my schedule and recognize, okay, what can I propose? And I can just simply say, okay, having had the conversations, and in order for us to continue to build the clarity and to
mhm.
be, and to work towards the shifts that you are desiring to see, you desire to see, I'm proposing for us to begin on January 20th. And I just took this date out of the hat. And that proposal could now begin a conversation. And I forgot the name of the gentleman. And he can say, sounds great. Or he can say, you know what? January 20th doesn't work for me. So now you find yourself in an agreement. You both are creating an agreement with each other where you choose the date. For example, he comes back with the 15th. You look at your schedule, you say, okay, great. 15th works. Now, in order for us to begin, I would need a payment by January 1st. Does that work for you? Yes, Linda, I can make a payment for January 1st. When would I be able to receive this payment? Because at this point, you're being very clear. By 5 p.m. on January 1st, Linda, you will be able to see this payment. Great. I'm glad that we agreed. So I am sending an invoice right now that you can pay on or before. And guys, this is crucial. On or before. Because if they can pay it before, even better. On or before, now you can ask, do you agree? Is that clear? Because when the person agrees and has all the clarity, now we have a contract. When we're just
Karina, can I interrupt for a second? Can I interrupt? That all sounds wonderful and good, but I'm wondering, where is the leadership as opposed to saying, I'm looking at this date, does it work for you? As opposed to giving a client the choice. And then they have the choice on their end. Like, I have this date and I have this date.
the leadership was,
I think it would eliminate a lot of the back and forth.
well, because you originally proposed the dates.
No, I didn't. I neglected to ask him when he would like to commence. I looked in my calendar when I realized I neglected to discuss this with him, hoping that just to have in my mind what would be available. And when I said, let me know when you would like to commence, that's when I got the answer, how about after the holiday?
So how would you
I
do?
realize now I could have gone back to him to say, instead of saying your holiday or mine, does that include Christmas and New Year's? I could have said, I have this available and that available. Then he has a choice, but I've taken leadership.
That's it. That's it. You have proposed the dates. That's the leadership. You, at that point, have proposed the dates, and now he can have a choice. Now you can both work together in regards to the schedule, what works, what doesn't, because that is how agreements work. Not by us throwing the dates out there and saying, do you agree or disagree? We actually sit there with them in that conversation with them and saying, do these dates work for you going forward? And our client can simply say no. And that doesn't mean that we have lost leadership. That just means that now we're creating agreements. We're seeing what works for both of us because we're human beings. January 20th, for example, may not work for him. And he may suggest a different date. That doesn't mean that you have lost the leadership. Now you guys are talking about agreeing to meet on certain dates. That's all. Do you see it?
Yes, thank you. So we'll see what happens this afternoon if I hear from him. And so my question is, if I don't, how long do I wait before hearing from him?
Yeah.
Before I reach out again and say, I have this date and that date. What do you think?
How long has
Does this work for you?
Yeah. How long has it been since you had communication?
In regards to this, it was just yesterday.
Okay.
I'm just kind of trying to prepare ahead of time because I have this hot burning agreement that all I have to do is plug those dates in and I can send it to him and then we can get going. So I just don't want, with the holidays and being distracted and this not being finalized and on both of our calendars, I don't want it to kind of drop.
Yeah. That's amazing, Linda, because
Yeah.
you can definitely, if you are slowed down in the dates that you can propose, you can
Mhm,
then reach out to him and say, I haven't heard back from you.
mhm,
And I'm wondering if you have seen my last message.
mm,
Here are the dates that I think will work for us going forward. Will you
right.
let me know?
Yeah.
Or this would be a great opportunity, Linda, to invite him for another 15 or 20 minutes conversation
Mm,
and saying, you know, I've realized because now you're taking the leadership. This is how you show the leadership by saying, I've realized that it has been a little confusing back and forth, your holiday, my holiday. Why don't we take 20 minutes and meet again
mhm,
so we can create the clarity where we could begin,
mhm,
when the payment can go in,
mhm.
because now you're talking person to person, now not just exchanging messages, because you guys all know how those messages can go sideways. Now
Yeah.
you're talking, and now you're being present with the person. And at this point, you're bringing all the clarity. You have slowed down and looked at the dates. You now
Mhm,
know what you can propose. Okay, let's work together January 5th or whatever. In order to do
mhm,
that, I would need a payment a week before,
mhm.
2 weeks before. Do
Right.
you agree? And let's talk about the payment. How long do we want to
Mhm.
work together? Has that been established?
He knows. Yes, I'm still. Yes, we had that conversation on Wednesday night with all the logistics and all the details and what it's going to look like, and everything was fine.
Good, good.
So yeah, yeah. So I'm just going to get out of my head, realize that he's very coachable. He does want to do this, and it just happened yesterday. I do know that I can see on my text that he did receive the message. I knew I wouldn't hear back from him last night because I told me what he would be doing. So I'll give it the weekend. And if I don't hear from him by Monday, then I will follow up.
Even
Yeah. I don't
better.
want to take all the time. I kind of want to hope that other people have a question as well.
Let's do that.
But I do have clarity. So thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your answers.
Mm. I'm glad it worked. Who's next, guys?
Yes.
Magna.
Hi, Irina. Thank you for holding this space for us today. Um, yeah, so questions. I feel like in the last couple months, I've made a lot of great connections, and people want to, like, they reach out to me, they want to meet with me for coffee, and I invite them to do coaching, like based on maybe something specific they want, an area that they identify that they wish was better or something they're hoping for in the next year. So I invite them, and then but like between the invitation and like closing into a paid client, like my enrollment process is just, I don't know. I don't feel confident in that stage of enough practice. And I end up like, I've done it like proposals with quite a few people, like a 2 hour consultation, and which we kind of, I do share my fees, and then, and then it just kind of drops off there. Um, and maybe, yeah, so I'm not thinking of a specific case, but kind of, and then, so I'm just wondering, what could I be doing, like to, I guess, like, what are my thoughts that might be getting in the way, or what could I be doing to get more practices at that stage
At stage
of the enrollment?
of the enrollment. Okay, so let's get
Yeah, like the conversation, yeah, where we're like, I'm selling my coaching, pretty much, my package.
yeah. Yeah, I love this. I'm selling my coaching. I'm selling my package. When does this happen? Like when have you noticed, Magna, that
Yeah.
you would attempt to do that after how many conversations? Like how do you build
Um,
your y-
So there's usually the first encounter, like at a social event or a networking event, and then they like me. They like something about me, or they like my story. They want to meet for coffee. It's like a social engagement still, right? Then I get to know them a little more. They get to know me a little more, and I've identified. Then in my coaching brain will tell me, okay, there's a couple areas maybe they need some support there. I invite them. And if it gets a little weird, then I kind of say, well, if there's anyone you know who might need any support, please feel free to like send them my contact, or I'm happy to support. And then there's a few people that take me up. So by this, and then I do the free I do like a 2 hour complimentary, I don't want to say free, but complimentary session where they can get to know me and get to know my coaching style and how it might be value to them. And so about 2 or 3 interactions, I would say minimum, before I try to jump in and invite them to coaching consultation, right? Maybe
Beautiful.
even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Magna, after
Yeah.
those 2, 3 initial conversations, or 4, is it you
Yeah.
beginning to offer them coaching, or is it them who are now wanting to continue and asking, okay, Magna, how does it look like to work with you?
Well, maybe I should pay attention more to that. But it does feel like they are initiating that conversation. Uh-huh. And then we'll go and I have different ways of setting up the consultation, like where they are, where they want to go, and then what are their gaps and how to bridge the gap is my coaching program. And but somewhere I think there's somehow it drops off at that point. They don't quite see it, or they don't know if it's possible for them still, or it's me they're not sure of, and that's where I'm losing the opportunity. It feels like I'm not sure what's
And
happening exactly.
it's so beautiful to see, Magna. It's so beautiful to see that somewhere in between, and you've used a few words, something weird is happening. I see, what are you noticing that is weird in the conversation, where you kind of back off and just tell them, give your cards away, like, what do you mean by
Yeah.
weird?
It sounds like I lose them, right? It feels like they disengage, or they're just not interested. Maybe, yeah, not sure. I don't think they understand what coaching is quite, and the process of how it can help them, and my ability to help them achieve what they want.
I remember, and thank you, Magna, thank you for being so open and honest about that, because I remember at the beginning how it was for me. I ran around with my head up high, and I thought I was the superior one who knows. And that's where my problems began, because I looked upon people. I know you don't. I can teach you, or I can make you better, or I could bring you to this life, that you could experience something better. I know you don't. And what I've noticed when I was showing up like that, me the superior, me the coach, you know, who knows what, you're probably lost, you need a lot of help, nothing would go forward. I noticed that the more I pressed forward, the more people dug their heels in. I noticed that every time I tried to suggest that I can help you, or I can show you the way, people resented. And it was this resentment they tried to push away. And the fact, Magna, that you are noticing, that you are creating that awareness of where is this gap between our conversations going solid, and then enrollment isn't working out, because that's exactly where it's at. Guys, when at the beginning of each coaching conversation we show up with this need, this need of them being our clients. And I know it never really made a lot of sense to me at the beginning either. I thought, well, isn't the whole process, and I thought I figured it out with these 3 conversations and let's propose and let's go. But no. Whenever I showed up with a need, okay, so I'll give 3 conversations and then I'll throw my pitch in and they'll be all cured and nice and ready to work with me. Each time we show up for conversations with others, not because we need a client, but because we want to be of service to this person even before they have said yes to working with us. What does that mean? And when I finally got it, what does that mean? That means that I'm not upselling me. That means that you're not going to get benefits from working with me. I take me out of this equation. I show up open and curious about you, and only you, my client. I leave my need for being professional, for being the leader, for being know-it-all, superior. I leave all of that at the door. And when I enter this space, my ears are prompt, and I want to see the world through your eyes. I don't want to talk about what it would look like to be coaching with me. No. Guys, this is where most of confusion lays. When our clients sign up with us, it's not what we want to help them see, that it's not the cost. It's the investment of continuing what we have started in those 3, 4, 5 conversations. They, at this point, they are immersed, like they want to continue with me, Magna, me, Linda, me, Scott, because they have already felt the support that you provided in small questions. Like, I remember the first time client signed up with me, she was struggling with the weight. And in these 3 conversations, she turned the corner. And it wasn't me, pressuring, or it was me being fully immersed as she was already my client, helping her overcome this idea of her that isn't good enough because she thinks she's fat. We began working, and it wasn't from me telling her what and how she should do. It was the trust that got created in these conversations when I only listened. And I never said a word of how it was going to look like to work with me. I served wholeheartedly. And each time I asked, is there any more? Do you feel complete around this question? And when she finally said yes, and in our 3rd conversation, she said, Irina, I'm really beginning to build the system that works in losing weight. How can we do this? How can we continue doing this? Because now they bring, because there's this that I want to work with, there's it, because now they saw the possibility. It wasn't us pitching. And this is the reason why I decided to follow the system that works. Create, invite, coach, propose. All other systems of you got to look for the pain, you got to grab them, when you got the pain, it didn't work. All of those marketing strategies, you got to do this, or you got to ask 3 wonderful questions, and then this opposite question, it didn't work for me. I followed the system that worked, and now I don't want to say teach the system, I share the system that has been proven to work. Create, invite, coach, propose. Because only when you are at the beautiful stage, Magna, where you are creating your clients. Now, invitations. Let's get real clear. Do our clients know what they come in? Like, is there going to be coaching? Because as Steve Chandler always says, coaching without a permission is not coaching. We have to ask the client. We have to make sure that the client knows what they're coming in with a conversation with, right? What kind of, like, what are we going to talk about? Is there going to be coaching, or it's going to be just exchange of information? And that's why at the beginning, guys, you all noticed people say, yeah, we can chat. No, we're not going to be doing any chatting. We're going to be coaching. Is there one
Yeah.
question?
So
Go on.
sorry. So I'll just a few minutes if that's okay, just share. So I knew this was a problem sort of area for me. So then I opened up, like I gave I invited people to do like 4 sessions with me.
Yeah.
Complimentary. So I could get more practice, and then in that, within the 4, I'd have enough information. So I'm in that process of coaching. I just got 5 new prospects when I invited them to this program I have, this offer. And I want to just be prepared now. So when the end of the 4, to kind of be in a better headspace to be able to like enroll and ask them. So yeah, what do you think? I guess I'm hearing you say like, clean up my thoughts, be there, present, and not attached to any kind of outcome. I'm working on all that. Is there anything else that maybe I should consider or has been helpful to others in this stage of like, I know the clients now, I'm gonna get to know them really well in the 4 sessions, and I'm sure at the end of it they're gonna be open to hearing about continuing to work
We
with
don't
me.
know.
And they can ask me if they want to, but if they don't ask, I could see how it's going, and I don't have to propose, but I definitely would like the practice.
Yeah.
So my question is, yeah, is there anything I could better prepare myself?
Yeah, what
for?
would you like to
Or-
prepare yourself for, Magna? When you say I would like to, can I prepare myself? What is it that you're preparing yourself for?
I'm not sure. Being great at being in the sales talk, in the sales conversation at that stage, right? I've sold myself in terms of like, this is who I am, this is my coaching, this is how it might be serving you. Do you want to continue now beyond the 4 sessions, right?
Yeah, because you see, there's a need. There's a need to sell. Yeah, I've had these
Well,
beautiful 4
there is.
conversations with you. And now, I'm a coach. I need to make money. So there's a need to sell. And what I'm inviting all of you guys to do, because, and I've been there. I know
Mhm.
exactly how it feels. Like, what do you mean? I gotta drop all of these conversations and just wait for them to, um, to ask me, what if they don't? Now I've wasted my time. And you haven't. You've been in the world of this person, serving them wholeheartedly, because it may not click. Within those 3 or 4 conversations, it may very well click where they say, I would love to continue. How do we do that? Or after these 3 or 4 conversations, you may say, do you feel complete? What was your experience? And just end at that.
Okay.
Or you can simply say, would you like to know how I work? And
Okay.
a lot of people are pleasers, and they would say, yeah, because now they feel like, gee, she spent, 4 wonderful hours with me. I guess I'll listen to how she works. Because see, that is something that I don't do anymore. But was I doing that before? 100%. What I do,
What, the people pleasing?
yeah, not the people pleasing. I would ask after 3 or 4 conversations, I would ask,
Oh,
Like, well, are you ready now? Come on, let's get rolling. Here I was helping you, serving you, but the true meaning of service is to serve and let go. Let go. And that is when we guys come from no need,
Yeah.
we serve wholeheartedly. What does that mean? When we have no need associated with them working with us, them signing for programs, we get in to be in this space where we can be authentic, and we can then notice and point out to some of the things that have been blocking or have been keeping that person stuck. Because when we are in this mode of searching for next client, we ourselves want to be pleasers too. And we may try to soften the corners a little bit, but coaching position, just like in a conversation with Linda, it's all about leadership, guys. Authentic, powerful service where you show up with ability to be present,
Yeah.
be welcoming, and know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because Meghna, even after these 4 wonderful conversations, if you when you serve them so powerfully and deeply, and at the end of that 4th conversation, maybe some sign up, maybe some don't, you are now have an opportunity to, maybe a week or 2 weeks later or a month later, send them something to astonish your client, to show them that you are thinking of them. Because something may resonate, a podcast, maybe something that you could actually send saying, thinking of you in our conversations. And by the way, here's the group that I have created. Would you like to know more about it? Because now you're in the world. These beautiful people that have taken their time and invested with you, it meant they were getting something from you. So now, Meghna, show up and serve wholeheartedly without that attachment of them signing up with you, because that is the
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm going to do that. I guess I'm making it mean like if they're not interested in going further, I'm making it mean that it means there's somehow I'm not a good coach. That I need more training as a coach. That's kind of also the other thing that's coming up.
That's never about you. It's about them. It's about the
making it feel like
it's about.
I know, but I'm making it feel like maybe I'm not a great coach.
And you see, that's a great awareness, because back then when I started, I thought and I think I've shared it with you guys, I thought that English was my problem. I couldn't coach people because I don't speak English. And was that my block? Yes. Did that throw away my confidence? 100%. But only when I recognized, when I was coaching people and serving them, really deeply and profoundly serving them. How would you notice that you serve them when it's not about you? Like I was telling you guys right at the beginning, this is the first Q&A that I'm running, right, in regards to supporting coaches and assisting coaches. And the first thought was, how can I show up? Whenever it's about me, I'm not being of service to my clients. Whenever the focus on me, I'm out of service. All I want to do is service, connect with my client and take a look where, and see through their eyes. Because when we begin to see through their eyes and not through the agenda that we have decided, no, in the conversation with them, we may ask, just like I asked you today, hey, can you tell me a little more? What are you trying to get? What is this word that you're trying to be prepared for? Because it means something in your view, and it means completely different in mine. So guys, in our conversations with our clients, what we are trying to see through their eyes, only through their eyes, because a word stuck may mean one thing for me, and a word stuck may mean something else for them. And when we apply that curiosity in our coaching conversations and no attachment, we have no idea where that conversation is going. We're there for them. And when we hear what they're struggling with, this is what we want to know a little more about. Hey, can you tell me more about it? Can you expand on that? Because this is how they create trust. Because when we begin with our pitching, it's not about them, it's about us. It's about me trying to pitch my services. That's not, you know. Magna, how's this sitting with you?
It's okay. I mean, I'm just gonna keep going, keep practicing and getting more people to serve and share my coaching with, and I will get better, and I will get better at talking about enrollment. I will get better at my coaching. So just gonna keep going.
Exactly. Just keep going. It's never about you. You are perfect because you are learning with each conversation. You are learning what works and what doesn't. And that awareness, those shifts that you are already creating, guys, they're everywhere. What am I doing? And actually, I wrote questions for you because when I was trying to introduce you, and for most of you, you have already known about create, invite, coach, propose. So when I was preparing, here are some notes. What does create means? Create, how do I create clients? What is my system for creating clients, for bringing conversations into my life? And Magna, it seems like you got it. You got a perfect system to bring conversations into your life. Second, how do I invite them? What is now my invitation? Come and experience coaching with me. That's what invitation means, right? What is my invitation? And when you're noticing that at this stage, some people come and they're kind of unclear about what's going on, let's look at invitations. Where am I a little unclear in my invitations? Because I was very unclear. I was very social in my invitations. Hey, let's come and let's have a talk and let's have a coffee and let's have a friendly chat. No, I'm not looking for a friendly chat. I'm looking to service you. What is one question that you would like to be answered by the end of our coaching call? Where can life get better? Where, be specific. And now there's an invitation to coach. Third, coach itself. When you guys are noticing that, maybe coaching, especially Magna, with questions in regards to maybe I'm not a good coach, you're an amazing coach. Because guys, let's remember, what is coaching about? Can anybody tell me what is coaching about?
Relationship.
Relationship. And it's also about listening. Guys, if we can
Holding space.
when I studied with Michael Neal, and I remember he created this like my understanding in regards to that became very clear because he shared this story of a lamppost, and I'm not sure if I have shared it with you, but Michael Neal, he had this guy, or he saw this guy that each night after work he would stop by a lamppost and he would talk to this lamppost. And then when Michael Neal approached this guy, he goes, I've been watching you, and I'm curious, like, what are you doing? He goes, every time on the way to work, because I live by myself, I stop by this lamppost and I share my days, my, events of my day. And I remember that's where Michael Neal brought this thing. He goes, if we can be a lamppost in our client's life, we've done our duty. We've been of service. Guys, we are not in our coaching conversations, and please get this clear. We are not there to teach, to make better, to show the way. No, no, we don't know better. We have no idea what's better it is for them. The only thing we do, we're present in conversations with our clients, and we are listening, and we ask questions, thought-provoking questions. And Meghna, you're amazing at that. We all are. We can listen. And as we go, we will practice. We will practice and practice some more, where then you notice that you're coaching in realm of possibility, not just, what are the steps to get to that? What do you want? And how can we get there together? What is the first step you're willing to take? And then they're with you all the way. But it's not me telling you what you got wrong. It's them being open with me, and that's how we create relationship. I'm noticing, Meghna, how's that? Is that becoming a little clear? Yeah. And then we propose. The fourth, we propose. And the art of proposal, it took me 3 years to learn. I skated over conversations. I looked for pain points. I wanted the sell. And now, I always, at the end of my third or fourth conversation, sometimes I ask, sometimes I don't. And I always give 20 minutes. Hey, would you like to talk about continuing? Yes, I would. This is what it would look like. Because this gives me an opportunity to slow down and to see what is best for my client. What is it? Because at that point, I can offer a 3-month program. I can offer a 1-month program. I can offer one-on-one. I can offer, what do you propose? And guys, I often offer, hey, do you want to continue? Yes, I do. How would it look like for you to continue? Well, I'd like to try to coach with you. Okay. Yeah, maybe. And I've heard that a lot. Hey, Irina, can we do 1-hour sessions? Sure. How often would you like to do it? Well, I don't know now, but maybe twice a month. Great. Okay, so let's take our calendar out and let's put 2 next sessions on the calendar for next month. Amazing. And right there, I'm sitting with them. Oh, Meghna, I want to use so in the business. And right there, I'm sitting with them. And I say, okay, so it's gonna cost this and this. In order for us to proceed, I need a payment. And just like Linda, I need a payment by beginning or the end of the month, because now I'm the leader. Could you do that? Will you be able to pay by this date? Yes, I will. Is that clear? So I'm sending you an invoice. When would you pay the invoice? Irina, I will pay it tomorrow by 5 p.m. Amazing. So, and then I confirm. So I will expect the payment from you tomorrow by 5 p.m. And when my client says yes, I know that payment will be there. I know that there is no unclear about it. And it took me a while. Guys, I've noticed that we just hit 2 p.m. Scott, oh, and Scott is gone. Tina, Ada, do you guys have any questions?
I don't have any questions. This was very, very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. What was
Yeah, I
helpful?
found it helpful to listen. Oh, go ahead. Let the other person go.
Yeah. Tina, what was helpful? One thing, can you share the one thing that really resonated with you?
I would have to say the questions about and the hesitancy, I guess, around asking for payment from clients and that commitment. I was self-employed in a business where I was just pretty much commission only and worked very hard to get out of that model. And I'm just kind of more hearing those discussions make me just, I guess, more amplified to not be hesitant to ask for the business. So that was what was very compelling.
Yeah. Tina, and it is absolutely common. Of course it's common. When I began, I didn't know how to ask. It was difficult, because then we get things mixed in like, well, it's about me, what is my value, how much do I want to charge? But it's never about us, guys. It's about the price of the service that I provide and getting very clear on the price of the service that I provide. And by the way, and Ada, I'm just going to get to you in a second. Guys, I've shared the Facebook. I don't know, can you guys see? I've created this Facebook group where I will be sharing a lot in regards to this journey. And let me know if you can see it. Join in so you could continue on this journey. Ada, what was helpful to you? The one thing that resonated with you?
Okay. Thank you, Irina. So actually, it was two things that resonated with me. One was when you were speaking, you were responding to someone, and you mentioned that the coaching, I think you said something to the extent that coaching is not about helping. I'm not sure if you used the word helping or if you said it's not about something, like it's not about advising or something to that extent. You may not have used that exact word, but something to that extent. You said it's really not about that. You're not trying to solve anything or help them to solve anything. I think, am I correct?
Exactly.
Is that what you
It's
said?
exactly that, Ada. It's exactly that. Because when we get very clear on that, when we get clear on the fact that I do not know your answers for you, I do not know better. What I am trying to do is I am assisting you in creating clarity. Because for me, when I used word "let me help you," people resisted. They dug their heels. I was like, what does it look like I need help?
Does it look like I need help?
And that created a lot of resistance.
Created a lot of resistance.
Oh, I'm hearing an echo.
Oh, I'm hearing an echo.
Yeah, Ada, you got it.
Yeah, Ada.
We are not superior. We do not know answers for them. What we do, we provide the space for them to get the answers from within. Because our clients know. They always know.
Can I ask you a question? Like, for someone like me, I'm coming from the background. I think you mentioned also in the past you used to be kind of wanting to please in your early career,
Yeah.
that sort of a thing. So it's like sometimes I do, kind of it's my tendency to kind of want to help and things like that. Even outside of just coaching, just generally speaking, especially if you get along. I'm not even talking about in a business environment where someone is your client, but just generally you have your friend or people that even are your colleagues that you get along well with, and you see that they're going through some difficulty and you want to give a tip that might help them if they seem stumped. Did you find that difficult to hold back like not like trying to give them a tip or, you know, trying to just question for them to try to come up with themselves? Did you find it difficult?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I
At the beginning, yeah. Oh, Ada, I learned beginning, I really struggled. I struggled with this identity. I knew they didn't. Here I was, I've taken so many coaching courses. I worked with the best. I worked with Rich Litvin. I worked with Michael Neal. I worked with this, Byron Katie, you name it. Steve Chandler was my mentor. Oh, I was so superior, and I was coming from a place I know you don't. I'm superior, you're inferior. I had no clients because when you coach from that space, when you approach, I'm not even talking about coaching at this point. When you approach people from that space, they feel they feel shamed. They feel inadequate. They feel, like, here, who are you? Are you my parent? And as a matter of fact, I heard that a lot. Like, what are you? Like, what, you know better, And from that point, when my friends or my colleagues, or anybody who I came across with, when I would create conversations or be in a conversation where I thought I could be of help, even then, I'd invite them. I wouldn't right there in the spot try to offer them any advice. I would listen to them. I'd ask questions if appropriate. And then either towards the end of the dinner or social gathering or anything, or maybe if I did have their email or text, I would send them a separate text. And that was my invitation. Or email. Invitation to always get clearer. Let's get clarity. I heard, 2 days ago, I heard we were in conversation, and I have been thinking of you. You were sharing that, you've been let go. Would you like to talk about that? Like, you see, it's not about
Yes.
now you're inviting them to your professional space. Now
Yes.
they know that they will be listened to, you see? And now they know that, okay, this is not just chit chat over dinner, throwing
Right.
advice or anything. No, no, no. They know that actually there is a chance that they may find answers. And now they are they respect your time, you see? They make sure that they show up. And sometimes they don't, and it's okay. And Tina and Ada, by the way, if this had resonated and you want to know more, on December 15th, I do have another call exactly like this one. Or you can share with me via email what landed, what hasn't, because I'm looking at the time and I could see that we're already 10 minutes over, and I love where we are going with this. But if any of this resonated, send me an email. Or, like I said, join the group. You could send me an email at iconiccoach@gmail.com and share with me your experience, because I would love to know more. And typically what I do, and that's the way I serve people, coaches or non-coaches, I offer one or two conversations for free. No strings attached. I'm not looking to get you as a client. But if in those one or two conversations, I can assist you in creating whatever it is, clarity or next few steps, or what is the system that, if followed, can get me hired or can get my team have less turnover or anything, you are welcome to take this opportunity and have one-on-one with me, because it does take a while. It does take a while to learn, because you see, coaching, it's perceived as a lifestyle. I like to call it a transformation. It began for me as a lifestyle too, but it continues as a transformation, because the more I learn, the more I want to share, and the more I want to be the leader that can help and can assist others in creating whatever they are creating, whether it's a business, whether it's a relationship. And people, the reason I've actually created this group, because I'm a part of a lot of groups and Facebook groups in regards to coaches, and I'm seeing the same questions are being asked over and over and over. And if we can slow down and really get those answers, those questions answered, we can create the business. It happened for me, and I could never think of myself as a businesswoman, but it happened for me, and it happened through a transformation. So, guys,
Irina, that was the second takeaway that I had. You just said it. It's when you spoke to the first woman and you mentioned about slow down. That was also because I noticed how very deliberate you speak. I noticed that from the first time I came on. So I don't know if you've always spoke like that, or if you, over your training over the years,
yeah,
you've learned,
I was such a drama queen. Oh, my son could attest to that. And I remember when I first signed up for coaching, one-on-one coaching, because that's another thing you guys will realize, that you as coaches also need a support system. You as coaches can, because I remember when I would have questions, and I had some difficult clients, and some of them are still, not seeing results, not seeing the shifts. I didn't know who to run to. So yeah, I've taken a lot of courses from Rich Litvin and Michael Neal and Byron Katie and Nola Ren. I've had mentors, but what support system did I have to respond to my requirements? So I remember when I first hired my coach, and she's been amazing. I've been with her for over 3 years now. And she said to me one thing, and she goes, Irina, the only requirement for us to work together is that you slow down. And every time, and guys, Tina and Ada, in your journey, the one thing that I will strongly request of you is one client at a time. Who do I want to invite in my conversations? One, not the whole, because our mind loves to generalize. When we slow down and think of one person who I had a conversation with, a friend of mine who shared that she's struggling in a relationship with her husband, I want to slow down and write a personal invitation to her and say, hey, Mary, in our conversation a week ago, I heard a lot of frustration. Would you like to talk about that? And let's see if I could assist you in and relax you around this topic of your arguments with your husband, anything like that. But you see how personal, because when we send out this mass email, hey, come for coaching, 3 for 1, no, never worked for me. It never worked for me. Nobody ever came. But when I personally invited each and every one to a pinpointed conversation, because you had to derive a value. You just had a conversation with the person and they have just complained about something. So now, guys, when you go out into that world and you listen, have your ears peeled, listen to what people are complaining about, and then send a text and say, hey, I overheard. Would you like to talk about this specific thing that the person shared with you? Because now they feel like they have been heard. They feel like
Right.
somebody
And you keep it to that specific thing, Irina. You keep it to that because what I'm hearing is when you're listening to someone, you're communicating when you write them that letter. You're using your communication skills and how you, the words you use. I notice you seem frustrated, what you just said. And then also, I'm also hearing you're giving them an invitation, so they're having an agreement, but it's not a casual conversation. You're intentional about where this is going.
yes, because now we went from the world of social to professional. And actually, guys, I have a great audio for that. Social versus professional. Send me an email, Irina, recording, and I will send you social versus professional so you could continue to see where you want to create clarity in your invitation. Because, guys, everything begins through those 4 steps: create, invite, coach, propose. This is the system that works. And if followed, it will bring you money. It has for me. Guys, thank you. Thank you so much. I am looking forward to seeing you on December 15th. And let's continue
Thank you.
what we have started. All right?
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you.
Bye. Bye, guys.